video, I am going to show you some highlights of Canva, a freeware site that can be used by the most novice to the most established designer. What I like about Canva specifically is that it has some of the best templates for design and layout. Even though I'm able to design well enough on Photoshop, for example, I find myself drawn back to Canva time and again to get ideas, make graphics to be integrated into other media or programs later on, etc. Canva also, by the way, ascribes to the design and layout principles that you just learned about in the previous sections. In the next sections, we will look at Photoshop and Paint.net simultaneously. Okay, so to access Canva, you simply go onto its website and log in. There are paid options, or the so-called pro options, available, and this will generally get you more layout and elements to work with. At the beginning, however, you will do well with just the standard free option. Okay, so the first thing that you will see is that you have various options in terms of creating a design. You can create anything from a poster to a business card and anything in between. You can also insert custom dimensions in pixels, millimeters, or inches. Just a side note here, once you have the dimensions of your layout, you will need a pro account in order to change it. So make sure your dimensions are correct the first time around. Now, if you click on these options, you will see each one of them have a pre-designed template. A whole lot of them, actually. Making use of one is as simple as ensuring it's free and then clicking on it. As you can see, there really are some nice ones to choose from. The thing about these designs, however, is that not only can you add to them, which I will show you how to do in a minute, you can also edit the elements of the design itself. See here, when I click on an element, I get some options at the bar at the top. I can also move and rotate the element just as I want. Remember what you learned in the previous section regarding alignment, balance, composition, etc., and apply it here. Very cool is the fact that I can change the colors of the design, for example, if I have a color scheme in mind, or if I need to adhere to corporate colors, or if I simply want to speak to a design element such as unity and variety. You will see that you can choose from the default color palette, or you can add a new color by clicking on this plus sign and then moving your mouse around. Once you found a color that you want to use often, write down the color code. Next time, you will then only need to type out the color code and you will get the exact same color again. To note, colors work the same for text as well as elements. Now, apart from adjusting the color, you can also copy the element and arrange its position. Here, you will bring an object forward or move it backwards so that they are arranged in the way you want them to be. Much like stacking papers, you will want some in front of others. This is also something that we talked about in the previous section. Likewise, here you will also set the object's transparency. Now, this goes hand in hand with the colors that you will select and the way that you arrange objects. Play around with your designs and see for yourself what works. Obviously, those things that do not work can always be deleted. You can also insert a link to an object. This is to say that if a person clicks on the object, they will be redirected to a web page, an email address, or anything like that. Obviously, however, this does not work if you plan to print your design or if you save it as anything other than a PDF. More about this a little later. Next, let's look at how you can add to a layout or design. Here too, Canva has made it really easy for you. Right now we have the layouts selected, but as you can see, we have 4 more options. The first one is elements. Under elements, you have searchable databases with objects that you can use in your design. Many of them are free and some of them are paid for pro subscribers. The free photos especially are great on this program. They have tags, so you can search with keywords. Apart from photos, you will make use of illustrations, lines, and icons most often in your designs. These are especially good for designs of graphics that are to be incorporated into other presentations or layouts. Again, these are searchable and very awesome for us, easily editable. You will start to create and cultivate your own style, and which elements you use will be largely dependent on that. The key, honestly, is to play around, as this is how you realize what you like and don't like to use. Apart from photos, and lines and illustrations and icons, Canva also has the usual shapes and some cool charts. If you have a set layout, for example an A4 page which you will want to cut up into 2 parts, you can use the grid option as well. Now, I don't use this one too often as I like the freedom of spacing my designs freely. It really is up to you, however, and to what you are designing. The only element that I want to stand still on for a moment is frames. For the most part, frames work much in the same way as all other elements. You select one you like, click to incorporate it into your design. Nothing strange here. The reason why I'm standing still on this element is that it works together with an option over here, the Uploads option. As the name suggests, this is where you would upload images and graphics that you have saved on your computer. For example, your company logo, a corporate background, a photo, or whatever you like. Do take note that this upload section is only for graphics, not for text. I will show you how to handle text in just a moment. What you do is you simply click here and then select your image from wherever you saved it. It will take a moment to load and then it will stay in this pane even if you close up the program or move to a different design. When I scroll down over here, you will see all of my previous uploads. They stay as long as I want them. If I do not want them anymore, I simply click on this little information icon that appears when I mouse over one of them and then click on Trash. Anyway, once I have uploaded the images or graphics that I want to make use of, I can insert them into the frame that I have added to my design. You simply click your upload and then drag and drop it into the frame. Double-clicking on the framed object will make it editable so far as positioning it in the frame is concerned. Your uploads can also be added by themselves, just like any other element, although because you uploaded it, you won't be able to change the colors or edit it in the same way you would with the other elements. The last 2 things that we need to talk about on this menu on the left is the background and text options. There's nothing too complicated about the background option. It does exactly what it says it will do. It creates a background for your design. When you select one of these colors or one of these patterns, Canva automatically positions it behind all of your other elements as it is your background. Just one thing to note over here, you can change the color of your texture patterns just as you would any other element in Canva. Use these textures sparingly and with definite reason, however. They have a tendency to limit your design's capability of white space as a design and layout principle. Lastly, almost every one of your designs and certainly every one of your layouts will have text incorporated into it. Canva has 2 main options for you. Firstly, a kind of design it yourself section over here where you can play around with the headings, subheadings, and body text options. Or secondly, pre-designed and configured options with certain fonts that work well together. If you decide to use one of these pre-designed text configurations, you will have to note that they are made up of grouped elements. You will have to ungroup these elements in order to edit a certain one of them. Once you have done so, you are free to regroup them again. You can do this in Canva just like you would in any other program. You select multiple elements or objects by clicking on them while holding in your Shift key. Then hit Group. Sometimes you will want to group objects in Canva that cannot be easily gotten a hold of. In that case, take your mouse outside of the design area, click and drag your mouse over the area where all of the objects appear that you want to group. You can also deselect any that you accidentally included, and then you just hit group again. This is really handy for when you want to make sure some objects shift or move together when you make adjustments to your bigger design or layout later on. Good. Now, while we are talking about the design space over here on your screen, take note with me of the options that you have. Firstly, you can add a new page to your design. This page will be in the same dimensions as your first page. Your page can either be blank with just your background on it, or you can use this button over here to duplicate a page. This is of course handy if you have a template that you would want to use over several pages. If you do not want any of the pages any longer, you simply delete it. Some of the designs that Canva offers has more than one page built into the design. These are signified in this way. Once you are happy with your design, you move over to the menu at the bottom right, where you can adjust the zoom. View your whole design in its full screen mode like this before you finalize it. I find that I come across many mistakes when I do this. It is also only once I view the design holistically that I can judge to what degree I am happy with all the design and layout principles being met in my design. If I'm happy with it, I can go ahead and prepare it for dissemination. The option that you will use most often to do so is this download button. When you click on it, a drop-down menu will appear with several options. For posters and other material that needs to be printed, you will obviously select the PDF option. The print version has a better resolution than the standard version. I recommend this for especially larger files. For example, if you do your design on an A1 sheet. For designs that are going to a web page or something like that, you might want to select the PNG option. If you are designing something that you will use in other applications, for example Photoshop, you can select JPEG. Either way, once you select your option, you can click Download. After a few moments, your design will be ready, and by default, it would have downloaded to your computer's Downloads folder. You can retrieve it from there, or open it up directly here and save it wherever you want. That's how easy it is to design and make layouts in Canva. One last thing that I want to show you is this little hack that I employ often. Sometimes you might see a design under a label, for example, that you want to employ for a poster or some other design. The dimensions of the label design are off for what you want, however, and so you will want to transfer this design to another place with other dimensions. Well, here's what you do. You sit on the design that you want and then press Ctrl and A together on a PC or Command and A together on your Mac. This is the shortcut key for Select All. Then, once everything about the design is selected, you press Ctrl C for copy, go back to your design and select the dimensions that you want. For example, poster dimensions. Click on the design space and press Ctrl V for paste. While all of the other elements are still selected, go ahead and resize them so that they fit into the new design dimensions. You might also have to adjust some of the elements individually. Just click anywhere on the page to deselect and then reselect the individual element that you want to adjust. Easy as that. Now, back on the design page that we just visited, you will see that Canva saves all of your previous designs for you. You can always go back and edit them. If you want to duplicate any one, just hover over it and then click on this arrow. One of the options that you have is to make a copy of the design, which you can then edit independent of the original. This is to say, you can change the copy without making changes to your original design. Okay, so this is about it for Canva. As you play around with the application, you will become more confident in exploring the many options and your many more crazy and creative ideas. Oftentimes, I use Canva in conjunction with Photoshop when I create a design and when I do layouts. In the next few videos, I will show you exactly how to do that.